It moves on risk too. And Singapore is a small state with no illusions about what keeps it safe. It relies on stable shipping lanes, on predictable trade routes, consistent energy access, and the rules-based order it constantly champions because it has no realistic alternative. So in the region that sits on top of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most vital energy corridors in the world, starts to escalate, Singapore paid attention. Iran, as we are talking about, of course, seized a tanker carrying cargo destined for Singapore, as it happens, to Talara, and subsequently let the ship and the crew go, minus the cargo that was heading Singapore's way. And this is where people get the story wrong if they jump to cause and effect conspiracy talk. Iran didn't seize it to threaten Singapore. It seized it because Iran seizes ships when it wants to signal leverage in its own disputes with global powers. And this was not some Singapore-specific operation. But if you're Singapore, you don't need the seizure to be about you for it to matter. What you saw was that Iran can unilaterally disrupt that flow of goods that Singapore depends on, and it can do it instantly. One move, one ship, cargo bound for you, stopped, taken, held, and you have no military capacity to respond, no leverage to retaliate, no route to force the release, and no influence over the geopolitical conditions that led to the event. That kind of disruption hits Singapore right at the heart of its strategic vulnerability. This is a city-state whose entire survival model depends on open seas and predictable flows. When that gets shaken, even indirectly, even just a little bit, becomes a live issue. And that's where the timing starts to line up here, because the seizure happens, the region heats up, and Singapore is suddenly aware that appearing too close to Israel, at a moment when Israel is facing global legal scrutiny and accusations of genocide, is a liability. Not because Iran is about to punish Singapore, but because being visibly aligned with Israel makes you look like a partisan actor in a conflict whose shockwaves can reach the maritime routes you depend on. If Iran sees you as leaning too far into the Western Israeli axis, you become another soft target in a global standoff that is expanding far beyond Gaza.